Welcome to TruPowur, home of the most powerful marketing tools, training, and technology on planet Earth. Get ready to earn, enjoy, and experience more than you ever dreamed was possible. If you're tired of just getting by and ready to really thrive, then buckle in and listen up. Here's your host, Matt Fox.
Hello and welcome this fine day. Today on episode 281 of TruPowur Academy, we are going to be talking about the commercial sales cycle and how to use that to increase your income when talking to commercial customers. So without any further ado, let me share my screen and let's jump right into it. Okay, so from the quick launch menu, let's start by going to the different markets that are available. And you can see that when you look at the request customer leads. And from here, you have access to check the market updates so that you know you're talking to the right people at the right time in the right location. So when you request your leads, be sure to check the market updates before putting in that request. And then very simply just request whether you need residential or commercial leads. In this topic today, we're talking about commercial leads. And so the main focus is talking to the customer about the utility audit. And the utility audit is where we actually go backwards up to 4 years, identifying the errors that are buried within the utility. And based on the statute of limitations, we're able to go backwards up to 4 years, identifying those errors and getting that back as a refund for that customer. So if we take a closer look at that, the audit submit form is very straightforward. The top three areas are for you to put your information in there and then the customer's information. So after you've collected their utility bill, then you're going to want to upload that to the auditor so that they can get started right away. So typically during business hours, we're focusing on the electric side initially. You have a lot of other cost centers. Let me caution you. If you try and cover everything that we do in one phone call, you will confuse the customer and nothing will happen. And so we want to keep this very straightforward and just look at the electric side of the business. So once you get a copy of the electric bill, put in there how much their monthly spend is, attach a copy of the bill, and then hit submit. That is the first part of the utility audit process. There's actually two parts to that. So the second part is where we actually go into the pricing platform and see what, if any, additional benefits we can provide that customer at the supplier level. Now, you'll notice that you can perform a utility audit in all 50 states. In Canada, there is no trigger mechanism that says this is the best time to do a utility audit. When you're looking at the market updates, what that really is looking at is the commercial and residential side of the business to be able to see where should you be putting your focus. So if it says that you should be talking to customers in Illinois, then obviously we open with the utility audit, but then we're going to progress to the electric and natural gas side of the business. So once we do that, then we're going to take and upload that information into the pricing platform. So the commercial side of the business, you're going to actually upload the customer's information into the system. Right now, we're just going to be looking at pricing. So we just want to take and upload that customer's information into the system and then put in the zip code, usage, and set the mills, and then whatever it is that they're currently paying on their electric. So I'm going to leave the default at 5 mils. When we come down here, we can see that for this particular customer, based on their usage and price to compare, then we would be able to actually save that customer $194,000 and put 12 grand in our pocket doing it, and that comes from the supplier. So if we wanted to, we could take and increase the margins to say 10 mils and take a look at it. And so we're still going to be saving that customer a significant amount of money at $169,000, but it increases our income from 12 grand to 25 grand. So I would caution you to not go above 10 mils. Most all suppliers split everything past 10 mils. So effectively, if you actually put this at 15 mils, you're really only going to be making 12.5 mils, because everything above 10 gets split. So that extra 5 would be cut in half, which would be 2.5, plus the 10 would be 12.5 mils. So there's really not that significant of a difference. And so, you know, you're not really doing yourself any favor. So let's just keep the cap at 10 mils. That's way sufficient in pricing that. So the important part is that you know that you're able to take and upload the utility bill and for the utility audit, and we're going to be conducting 2 tasks with that same bill. One is to send that to the auditors so that they can get underway, because the audit takes time. The audit can take 30, 60, 90, even 120 days. And that's not to say that there are going to be any errors. So about 60, 70, 80% of the time, we'll find errors that result in substantial refunds. But if there aren't any errors, then you certainly don't want to wait around 30, 60, 90, 120 days to find that answer out. So we want to take that same information, enter that into the pricing platform to see what, if any, benefit we can provide the customer at the supplier level, right? And so it's important that, you know, when you look at the market updates, that you're focusing on the states that is going to be able to provide you or the customer the greatest amount of opportunity or value. Obviously, the greater the value, the more yeses you get. The more yeses you get, the more revenue you make, and so everybody is happy. So can you do utility audit calls and talk to people in California or in places that are not on this immediate list? Absolutely. There is no trigger mechanism that says this is the best time to do a utility audit. This report is telling you that the next phase or the second step of that process is to look at the supplier side of their contract to make sure that they're being priced correctly. So, and at the time of this call, the best places to focus for commercial electricity is going to be Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Massachusetts, Maryland, Maine, and New Hampshire. And then, of course, if we're talking to customers about commercial natural gas, and then residential electric and natural gas are below that. But we're focusing right now primarily on the commercial markets in order to provide value for that customer. So something that is really important in talking to the commercial customers is really making them know in your words that the utility audit is 100% risk-free proposition. There is absolutely no way on earth that they would have any way to be able to know whether they're good or not. So sometimes you talk to people and you talk to them about the utility audit and their response is, oh, we're covered, we're good, we're fine, we've got somebody that took care of that. And what they're really saying is that they don't want to talk about renegotiation of their electricity contract. So you've heard me say it in the past, when somebody says they're fine, what they're just trying to do is get you off of the phone. So you need to make sure that you're a little more dogmatic about it and press that issue and just say, hey, look, the audit does not renegotiate your electricity contract. The audit is where we go backwards up to 4 years, identifying the errors that are not visible to you, that are buried within the utility. And based on the statute of limitations, we're able to get that back as a refund. Now, about 70% of the time, that results in substantial refunds. Utility companies are overcharging customers to the tune of $60 billion a year and climbing. They like the revenue. They're not going to tell you. So the proposition is that it costs you nothing to find out you have a clean bill of health. But if you don't, then it's a good thing that we're visiting this today. Once you get the bill, then it is going to give you the position to be able to take and then load that into the pricing platform and create some additional income for yourself and additional benefit for the customer. And so up here in the top where you look at the tips, you will see the commercial sales cycle. And so this kind of covers the commercial sales cycle in phases. So, from the CRM and the dialer, contacting the customer for an electricity audit using the script and email template. Upon receipt of the utility bill from the customer, submit that to the auditors, which is what we just covered, making sure that the bill is in a PDF format. If it's not, then you've got some PDF tools that are available in the quick launch menu. Then immediately enter that customer's information into the pricing platform to generate a proposal. And of course, for larger customers, we'll prepare a reverse auction or custom pricing. But what we would initially do is to create a proposal. And the way that we would do that is because any customer whose usage is above 1 million kWh per year automatically requires a custom pricing plan. So you can't do matrix pricing on any customer that has usage above 1 million. So that's why you'll see me put in 999,999. So it's one digit below the $1 million mark. So what happens if you have a customer that has 3 million kWh and you have no way of getting a general idea as to what we can do for them? Well, my suggestion is very straightforward and simple. Put in 999,999, which is one digit below 1 million, and then put that information into the system and take a look at it. So in this instance, if it was $169,000 worth of savings, we're really only looking at 1/3 of the savings. So it would be times 3. So that would be $507,000 worth of savings. And of course, the same could be said for the commission. So rather than being $25,000, then that would certainly be $75,000. So there are ways to kind of work around that, just making sure that when we do put that proposal together at a lower number, that when we have that conversation, the bad news is that you are $169,000 on the wrong side of the market. Actually, This only represents 1/3. And so you are actually a little over $500,000 on the wrong side of the market. The good news is that we can do a custom pricing scenario where we actually send that out to all of the suppliers and they bid and counter bid against each other, driving the price down. Just like when you go into eBay and you outbid the other guy, you're raising the price. Platforms like UShip, where you're shipping something and vendors go in there and then place bids to drive the price down, exactly the same. So the suppliers will come in and then put in a rate that they're comfortable with. So you may have a supplier that'll go in there and say, well, I'll do it for 7.6 cents. Then the next supplier comes in and says, I'll do it for 7.4. Or the next one will come back and say, well, forget you, I'm going to do it for 6 cents. So they're going to be, over the course of 3 days, they're going to be bidding and counter bidding in order to get that customer a rate that's far below market or very competitive overall. So I hope that this short training is helpful in getting you across the goal line. And just to finish this up, let's take a look at the balance of the commercial sales cycle in phases. So once we put that proposal together, and I've got trainings on that from in the past, but we will walk you through the first few of them anyway, so you have that comfort. But then we're going to change and rename the proposal to the customer's business name, because when you download the proposal will actually say proposal. We don't want it to say proposal. If it's ABC Company, then we want to change the name of that file to say abccompany.pdf, so that when we email it to them, I'm going to be far more comfortable opening up a PDF file that has my company name on it rather than proposal. I don't want to be sold, but everybody wants to save, right? And then follow up with the customer to let them know that the utility bill, that we received the utility bill safe and sound, and that the auditors are already underway, and that during the initial investigation, some additional savings were discovered. I emailed you some information. That's going to be the proposal. When you have a chance, take a look at that. Give me a call. We'll go over the details and so forth. So key is the CRM is designed so that as soon as they open that, a pop-up will appear. So you'll know when they're opening that, when they're taking a look at that. And then we'll go over that when we put that proposal together on how to work with that customer. I am more than happy to speak with the customer with you if that's necessary. But I think at the end of the day, it's important to know that you have all of the tools to really expedite and create a lot of income while helping a lot of people. A lot of times people aren't listening to you. So you need to be absolutely clear that the utility audit does not renegotiate their electricity contract. Don't say we won't renegotiate their electricity contract, because most likely we might and probably will. Why? Because we're using the market updates in order to generate the states that we're focusing on, because we know the audit takes time, but the second part or the second phase of that action is to look at the supplier side to see what, if any, benefit we can provide the customer at the supplier level. So I hope that today was helpful. I thank everybody for being on the call today. And like always, you don't have to go home, but you can stay here. So have fun storming the castle. Bye now.